What's up, YouTube? This your boy Bigboyfactsjonnytv, and tonight I'm gonna give you guys my WWE Raw review on how I like you guys to do. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And let's talk about Raw. Now, Raw was a 2 out of 10, but the show was awful. Tonight's WWE opens up on the USA Network live from the center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Jimmy Smith welcomes us to a packed house. He's joined at ringside by Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. Jimmy hypes the road to the Royal Rumble. We go right to the ring, and out comes Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. The announcers hype tonight's Raw lineup as Becky Lynch hits the ring to pose for the crowd. We see how Becky Lynch helped Doudrop win last week. No one contenders true threat for a title shot at the Royal Rumble, and how Becky Lynch slapped Doudrop after the match, but had her manhandle slam blocked before retreating to the floor. Becky Lynch welcomes us to the big time. She says we're less than 2 weeks from the Royal Rumble, and the Raw Women's division has never been hotter, and she represents responsible for that. The women's division is so hot, we have stars from other generations coming back, including the WWE Hall of Famers Lita and the Bella Twins and Mickie James, all hoping they can win and then challenge Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 38. Becky Lynch says WWE needs her because she makes stars. Just look at Doudrop. Becky Lynch goes on about Doudrop and how she got Doudrop the title match because that's what she does. She makes people better and then beat them. Becky Lynch does admire Doudrop's Tennessee, but not really. She goes on, but the music interrupts, and out comes Doudrop. Doudrop circles the ring and stares Becky Lynch down before entering. Doudrop says Becky Lynch didn't get her anything. She got herself this title match at the Royal Rumble. But if it was Becky Lynch's plan to face Doudrop instead of the others, then she made a big mistake. Doudrop warns Becky Lynch to stay out of her way tonight. Becky Lynch says if Doudrop follows her lead, she will get her another win this week. The music interrupts, and now comes Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair announces that she will be in the Royal Rumble and says she will win again this year, like last year, and will go back to WrestleMania and just might challenge Becky Lynch or Doudrop. Bianca Belair goes on until the music interrupts, and now comes Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan says she is also entering the Royal Rumble, but she will be the one to win. Liv Morgan goes on with her promo, but Doudrop drops a loud snare into the mic, saying Bianca Belair and Morgan are boring. Doudrop calls for a referee so she can shut them both up. The referee hits the ring and a scuffle breaks out as we go to commercial. So we get Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch and Doudrop versus Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. And here's the part that doesn't make sense, and Showstopper TV says it himself. So Showstopper TV, if you're watching this, please agree with me what I just said. Why would you put Becky Lynch and Doudrop as a tag team knowing they're going to face each other at the Royal Rumble? That's nothing but facts. That doesn't make any sense. Back from the break, and we see Raw Tag Team Champions after the Academy backstage warming up for their graduation ceremony later tonight. We go back to the ring, and the tag team match with Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair versus Doudrop and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch is underway. Belair tangles with Doudrop and suplex attempt is blocked. Bianca Belair keeps fighting, but Doudrop levels her. Becky Lynch tags herself in, and Doudrop isn't happy as they have words. Becky Lynch keeps talking trash, but turns around to a drop kick by Bianca Belair. Liv Morgan tags in and unloads on the champ, leveling her with a drop kick. Liv Morgan with a high knee strike in the corner. Becky Lynch runs into a back elbow, and Liv Morgan follows up with a missile drop kick from the top. Liv Morgan keeps controlling and nails double knees to the face for a really close 2 count as Doudrop runs in for the save. Bianca Belair attacks Doudrop but can't get her up for the kiss of death. Doudrop sends Bianca Belair into the turnbuckles. Doudrop goes on until Liv Morgan dumps her over the top rope to the floor. Becky Lynch comes from behind and rolls Liv Morgan for 2. Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch trade offensive now. Becky Lynch nails the manhandle slam out of nowhere for a close 2 count as Doudrop runs in and nails a splash to Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch to break up. Doudrop goes for a pin, but it's not legal. She goes over and lifts Becky Lynch's arm to tag herself in. Doudrop then comes back over and hits the big splash to Liv Morgan for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Doudrop and Becky Lynch. I don't get why would you put Becky Lynch and Doudrop as a tag team knowing they're going to be facing each other at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Champion. No, that's going to be a squash match by itself. That's nothing but facts by itself. After the match, Doudrop goes to the second rope and nails the big Benzie drop to Becky Lynch. We go to replay. Doudrop turns Becky Lynch and talks some trash while she's down. Reggie and the WWE 24/7 champion Dana Brooke are backstage with WWE Hall of Famers Edge and Beth Phoenix. Reggie asks Edge for some pointers against Omos tonight. Edge doesn't think Reggie has a chance, but he wishes him good luck. Beth Phoenix tells Dana she's so proud of her hard work and the fact that she is a champion after working hard these years. Reggie wants off and Brooke chase after him. Beth and Edge walk away, and Edge greets WWE United States Champion Damien Priest, who wants to pick Edge's brain about the Royal Rumble match. Edge is giving Damien Priest some advice when a staffer walks up and hands a note to Beth Phoenix. It's a note for Maurice, who wants to meet her in the ring, woman to woman. She says that suspicious, and Edge agrees. Edge says he's coming with her. They walk off, and Kevin Owens approaches Damien Priest, saying he's looking forward to their match tonight. Damien Priest isn't buying what Kevin Owens is saying about looking forward to a good, clean match to show off their technical sides. Kevin Owens says he has an announcement to go make, so he will see Damien Priest later. We go back to the ring, and out comes Kevin Owens for another must see episode of the Kevin Owens show. Back to commercial. The Kevin Owens show was it was just lame for what it was. Back from the break, and Kevin Owens is in the ring. He welcomes us to the Kevin Owens show and says he would like to say he's glad to be in Tulsa, but that would be a wild lie because this place is bad. Kevin Owens goes on and introduces his best friend, who will become the WWE Universal Champion after defeating Roman Reigns at the World Rumble. Kevin Owens continues with the grand introduction, and out comes Seth Rollins. We get a look back at what happened on SmackDown with Seth Rollins in the Bloodline as he enters the ring. Kevin Owens takes the mic and welcomes Seth Rollins and goes on about how much he admires Seth Rollins for his look, his suit, and also for what she went to SmackDown and confronted Roman Reigns last week. Kevin Owens says Rollins is the guy who set the table. Seth Rollins says truth is Reigns is rather a little nervous and scared. Seth Rollins goes on and says he's playing chess while Reigns is playing checkers, and it would be like taking candy from a baby at the Royal Rumble if Roman Reigns keeps it up. Seth Rollins reveals he will turn the WWE Universal title back to Red if he wins it. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins goes on about the match until Kevin Owens has some big news to reveal. Kevin Owens announced his spot in the 30-man Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens says he and Seth Rollins get to give fans the biggest match ever for the Universal title. Seth Rollins seems hesitate at first, but they are on the same page when the music interrupts, and out comes the WWE United States Champion Damien Priest telling them to shut up. Damien Priest says not one person on the planet thinks Seth Rollins can defeat Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Damien Priest goes on with trash talking for the stage and says he just spoke with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, who ruled that their match starts right now. We go back to commercial. Alright, so we get WWE United States Champion Damien Priest versus Kevin Owens. This was a pretty good match. Back from the break, and we get a new coming soon for Veer Maha. We go back to the ring, and the bell rings as WWE United States Champion Damien Priest locks up with Kevin Owens to begin this non-title match. Damien Priest works on Kevin Owens' arm, and Kevin Owens turns it around. They run the ropes, and Damien Priest levels Kevin Owens with a big shot, turning him inside out. Damien Priest with a big kick from the apron. Kevin Owens comes back and drops Damien Priest over the top rope, then stops away. Kevin Owens grounds Damien Priest from behind and ends up chopping away. Damien Priest takes them and just starts seeing now as Kevin Owens bleeds. Damien Priest unloads on Kevin Owens, retreats to the floor. Damien Priest follows as the referee counts. Damien Priest runs around and leaps at Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens nails him with a jaw with a super kick in the midair. Kevin Owens goes to the apron and flies off with a big fall splash. Kevin Owens stands tall and yells out while Damien Priest is flat on his back at ringside. We go back to commercial. Back from the break, Damien Priest mounts a comeback as Kevin Owens missed a shot. Damien Priest lifts Kevin Owens and drops him face first into the mat. Damien Priest charges with a stage dive into the corner. Kevin Owens goes on and rocks Damien Priest, but Priest levels him with a big clothesline. Damien Priest goes on and hits a broken arrow for a close 2 count. Damien Priest beats Kevin Owens around and takes him back to the top. Kevin Owens fights back with punches and headbutts, but Damien Priest also fights back. Kevin Owens blocks a superplex and headbutts Damien Priest on the mat. Kevin Owens follows up with a big senton for a close 2 count. Damien Priest kicks out and Owens can't believe it. Damien Priest blocks a stunner and another. Kevin Owens blocks the reckoning but comes back with a big pop-up powerbomb in the middle of the ring. Damien Priest still kicks out, and Kevin Owens shows some frustration. Damien Priest with a big kick to the head as they get back to their feet. Damien Priest comes right back with a south of heaven choke slam, but Kevin Owens just kick out just in time. Damien Priest can't believe it now. Kevin Owens is selling a hurt leg due to the choke slam. He goes down on the leg as it gives out as Damien Priest tries to whip him across the ring. The referee checks on Kevin Owens and calls for a trainer as fans boo. Kevin Owens is just suckering Damien Priest and drops him with a stunner out of nowhere for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Kevin Owens. This was a pretty good match. After the match, Kevin Owens quickly exits the ring and laughs as his music hits. Kevin Owens looks on from the ramp as Damien Priest tries to recover in the ring. We see how Alpha Academy won the Raw Tag Team titles from RK Bro last week. We go back to the ring and Pump and Circumstance plays, but this is no tribute to WWE Hall of Famer Randy Savage. New Raw Tag Team Champions Otis and Chad Gable appear on the ramp. They head to the ring for a special graduation ceremony as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, and the announcers hype Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins for tonight. We also see how Nikki Ash turned heel and Rhea Ripley last week. Nikki is backstage with Sarah Screever now. She says she stands on her own and now feels great about the future and now how everything went down. She blames Rhea Ripley for what happened last week and says she should be down and out after what happened. Nikki Ash replayed flushed their relationship down the drain. Nikki Ash goes on and snapped at Screamer for saying she caused the breakup last week, blaming it all on Rhea Ripley. Nikki Ash also said she is the closest thing to a hero that the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma will never have. She says almost superheroes have to do things normal people don't understand, and Rhea Ripley will realize she needs an almost superhero with her, she likes it or not. We go back to the ring, and Raw Tag Team Champions Alpha Academy are in the ring for a graduation ceremony. They're wearing cap and gowns, and there's a podium with some fake plants and their titles on display. Gable brags about his recent real life graduation and then knocks the people of Oklahoma. Gable says tonight is about celebration. The celebration of not just an institution, but an individual. Gable says he could go on talking about his long list of achievements, but this is about a man who overcomes the odds. He's talking about his pride, his prestige. Otis Gable is on. Otis Gable is on. I'm sorry. Otis Gable is so proud of Otis. He talks about how Otis applied the final lesson from the master and acclimated Randy Orton and Riddle. Gable says tonight it's an honor and great pleasure to present to us. Fans start chanting for RK Bro. Gable goes on and present Otis with the highest graduation honor. Pomp and circumstance starts up again as Gable congratulates Otis. He stepped up to the podium and thanks Gable, then says he has a warning to issue. Otis says they will bring nothing but pure carnage to anyone who miss with their titles or the Alpha Academy. They never stop and won't stop. The music interrupts and now comes Riddle, also wearing a cap and gown. Riddle does some comedy and says he had to come out and give a very special speech very special speech which he wrote at the breakfast buffet this morning. Riddle says it felt like just last week when he and Randy Orton were champions. Just a couple of young wild stallions running free, but today is graduation day and their lives will change forever. He goes on, but Gable yells at him, asking why he's here and what he's talking about. Gable knocks Riddle and the people of Oklahoma, tells Riddle to be on his way. Riddle says he actually comes out to say he's proud he is of Alpha Academy and their giant necks. Gable assumes Riddle is here for a rematch, but he's not even sure Riddle can define the word. Riddle struggles to define the word and tries some more comedy. Riddle finally says a rematch. Sounds like a pretty sick idea. Gable says it is no wonder Orton left Riddle high and dry. Gable laughs at Riddle for Orton leaving him and not being here tonight. Gable says Riddle has to prove his worthy for a rematch, and the academic challenge Gable says this will be a series of tests between the two teams to prove which is superior mentally. Gable says they already prove who is the physical superior. Riddle goes on running his mouth and rambling. Otis has heard enough and he's ready to fight. He takes off his robe and slowly walks up the ramp, talking Riddle. Orton hits the ring out of nowhere. draws Gable with the RKO. Otis turns his back to go to the ring, but Riddle runs down to ringside and attacks him for a pop. Riddle hits the ring and helps Orton put on the cap and gown Otis previously had on. Orton says they accept the challenge, while Otis is tending to Gable at ringside. We go to replay as Alpha Academy looks on from the stage and RK-Bro poses in the corner. We see recent happenings between Austin Theory and Finn Balor. We go backstage and Theory enters the office of WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon and thanks himself for this rematch tonight. Vince was watching their last match on a TV in his office, which Balor won. Theory vows to win this one and recalls how he beat Balor up after the last match, calling it almost a half win. Vince says those do not exit. He wants Theory to win and beat Balor up tonight. If he wins, doesn't Vince himself will beat Theory up? Vince says he will drag Theory back to his office, break every bone in his body, then goes for his head and face and leaves him with nothing but blood and teeth. Then when that's done, Vince says he will take a selfie with Theory's beating blood body and send it to Theory's mother. This was the best segment of the entire show. Austin Theory and Vince McMahon segment. This was the best segment of the entire show right here. The only good segment. So we get Finn Balor versus Austin Theory. This match was fine for what it was. We go back to the ring and out comes Finn Balor to a pop. Balor poses in the corners as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a video tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. We go back to the ring and out comes Austin Theory, who is all business. Finn Balor looks on from the ring as Theory hits the ring. We see more recent happenings between the two. The bell rings and they go at it. Austin Theory sends Balor out first and follows as the referee counts. Balor reverses an attempt and sends Theory into the burial. Finn Balor puts Theory down as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and the fight is back to the ring now. Balor keeps control and delivers a big chop to the chest in the corner. They trade counters, but Balor drops Theory face first for a close 2 count. Balor has Theory on the apron now, but Austin Theory drops him over the top rope. Balor comes back with a sling blade out of nowhere. Theory blocks the follow-up and overpowers Balor. Austin Theory goes for the ATL, but it's blocked with a roll-up for a close 2 count. Finn Balor fights back from the apron, dropping Austin Theory with an insecurity. Finn Balor goes to the top for the coup de grace, but Austin Theory moves. Austin Theory with a big drop kick to the face. Austin Theory scoots Balor for the ATL, and this time he nails it for the pin to win in the middle of the ring. The winner of the match, Austin Theory. This match was fun for what it was, like I said earlier. After the match, Austin Theory stands tall as the music hits, and we go to replay. Theory grabs his phone and stands over Balor for a selfie. Now, as some fans boo, Theory immediately smiles Balor and starts pounding him, and then delivers another ATL. Theory goes on talking trash as the boos continue. Austin Theory stands up and wipes his feet to disrespect Balor. When he's down, Theory makes his exit. We got another replay of what happened between Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash last week. Ripley is backstage warming up, and Sarah Screeber approaches and asks her thoughts on Nikki Ash earlier comments saying they break up as all Ripley's fault. Ripley says she never intended on breaking up their friendship. They could have supported their solo careers, but Nikki Ash made up her mind. Ripley doesn't forgive easily, but what kind of person attacks their friends? Ripley says Nikki is more delusional than she thought, if she thinks Ripley is the villain here. Ripley goes on and says she headed out to remind everyone who she really is. she walks off. So we get Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Ash. We go back to the ring, and out comes Rhea Ripley. She makes her entrance and go back to commercial. Back from the break, and out comes Nikki Ash. She faced off with her former tag team partner. The music interrupts, and out comes WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Queen Selena Vega and Carmella to the stage. They knock Tulsa and brag about how everything they predicted with Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley has come true. They say Rhea Ripley should really be thanking them. They go on trash talking until Nikki Ash attacked Ripley from the side. Nikki Ash beat Rhea Ripley down, and the bell has not hit yet. Nikki mounts Ripley and keeps her down until Ripley powers up and sends her to the floor. Nikki comes from the apron and sends Ripley to the floor. Instead, Nikki sends Ripley into the steel ring steps as fans boo now. Nikki poses on the ramp and she all smiles as the boos continue. Carmella and Vega have already left. We see what happened last week with Omos and Reggie and WWE 24/7 champion Dana Brooke. Reggie and Dana are backstage now, hyping Reggie up for his match with Omos. Dana keeps talking Reggie up, but he's doubting himself against Omos. Dana Brooke yells at him and says he is the most capable man she knows. She gives him some more pointers and tells Reggie to just stay away from Omos. They walk off, and we see R-Truth, Akira Tozawa, and Tamina and the referee were hiding and Evade dropping, watching popcorn. R-Truth says Dana must not like Reggie because she just sent him to get God. So we get Omos versus Reggie. I did not really care about this match. We go to the ring, and out comes Omos back to commercial. Back from the break, and Reggie makes his entrance as Omos looks on. Reggie seems a big worry as Omos stares him down, and the bell rings. Before the action can begin, we see 24/7 champion Dana Brooke suddenly runs to the ring, crawls under Omos' leg, and out the other side of the ring. Akira Tozawa and R-Truth follow her, but Omos easily destroys them. The bell rings and Reggie leaps off the top, but Omos catches him with a big bear hug. Omos tightens and then turns that into a big chokeslam bomb for the easy pin to win. The winner of the match, Omos. After the match, Omos stands tall and looks down at Reggie as the music plays. We see what happened last week between The Miz, Maurice, and WWE Hall of Famer Edge and Beth Phoenix. We go back to the ring now, and out comes Maurice by herself. Jimmy says Maurice has been granted time to speak face to face with Beth Phoenix in the ring. We go back to commercial. Back from the break, and the announcers hype Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley for tonight. We go back to the ring, and Maurice is waiting. She gives a shout out to Tulsa and says her husband, The Miz, can't be here tonight. She says we all know her husband has a big mouth, and now she has to clean up his mess. Maurice calls Beth to the ring so they can do this face to face, mother to mother. Maurice asks them to stop halfway to the ring. Maurice says the match at the Royal Rumble must be canceled. Maurice goes on about how no one wants the match. Fans are giving her a hard time, and Maurice talks some trash to them. A "you suck" chant starts up, and Maurice continues. Maurice suggests they perform as a unit, as best friends, or not go against each other. Maurice says they should become friends and do play date with their kids. Beth asks Maurice to just shut up on behalf of everyone else in the arena. Fans pop. Beth Phoenix says she's not buying any of this. which tells her Maurice must take action lessons from her husband. Bev says the match at the Royal Rumble is not being canceled, and she's not passing up the chance to Grand Slam Maurice through the canvas. Bev says, "Why don't we give the fans a little preview now?" She rushed the ring to a pop. Maurice stares her down. The Miz suddenly appears at ringside to brawl with Edge, but Edge drops him. Maurice takes advantage of the distraction and drops Beth Phoenix with a loaded purse shot to the head. Maurice retreats from the ring to join the Miz on the stage as fans boo them. It is revealed that they had a brick loaded in the purse. Edge tends to his wife in the ring while the Miz and Maurice taunt them from the backstage. How did Beth Phoenix fall for that brick? How did Beth Phoenix fall for that? That was so dumb. You know what I'm saying? That promo right there was so stupid. The Street Profits are backstage with Mysterios now. The two teams get hyped up for tonight's match in the 30-man Royal Rumble. So we get the Street Profits and Mysterios versus $30 Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz. This was a, you know what I'm saying? This was, I didn't really I didn't even pay attention to this match, but this was a decent tag match, I guess. But anyway, we go back to the ring, and out first are the Street Profits. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, they hit the ring and pose as fans cheer them on. Out next, there are Mysterios, Rey Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio. They rush the ring and pose as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and we get a SmackDown replay on Seth Rollins and the Bloodline. We go back to the ring. The Street Profits are getting hyped with the Mysterios. Dirty Dolph Ziggler and Maru are also out. Outlast comes Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz. Ziggler and Dominic start things off. Ziggler takes control early on, but Dominic drop kicks his leg out. Ziggler comes back with a clothesline, and Rude comes in. The Mysterios ends up double teaming Rude with a counter. Ray unloads on Rude and nails a Hurricane. Ray leaps off the top at Rude, but Rude catches him in midair and powers up with him for a powerbomb attempt, but it's also blocked. They end up tumbling over the top rope to the floor. Ziggler sends Dominic to the floor. The Mysterios and the Dirty Dogs are down at ringside as their partners have words in front of the announcer table. Back to the commercial. Back from the break, and Ray is double teamed by Ziggler and Root. Apollo tags in and hits a standing moonsault on Ray for a 2 count in the middle of the ring. Apollo Crews takes his time with Rey Mysterio and now pressing him high in the air above his head. Ray fights and turns that into a tornado DDT for a pop. Dawkins finally gets the hot tag, and he unloads Dawkins runs while on all opponents, launching Root over his head with on the exploder, and then Ziggler with the exploder as he runs in. Dawkins with a twisted elbow in the corner. Then he silence her to Cruz for a two count as Commander Ortiz breaks it up. Ford flies in and drop kicks Commander Ortiz to the floor as a shot to the head. Mysterio takes out the Dirty Dogs with a double 619. Commander Ortiz catches Dominic in his arms at ringside, but Ray leaves from the ring and kicks Commander Aziz over to save Dominic. Apollo Crews and Dawkins trade offense in the ring. Dawkins with a big atonement spine buster, 4 attacks, and flies off the top with a big frog splash for the pin to win. The winner of the match, the Street Profits and the Mysterios. After the match, the babyface stands tall as the Profits music hits. The two teams celebrate in the middle of the ring until Ray and Dominic comes from behind and dumps the Street Profits over the top to the floor. Ray then comes from behind and tosses his own son over the top rope for the floor Bray and Dominic have some friendly words as Bray celebrates in the ring. We see some of Bobby Lashley comment on WWE Champion Brock Lesnar from last week's WWE After the Bell podcast episode with Corey Graves. The announcer sent us to a nice video package on Lashley versus Lesnar. Now what would they look back at what they did before WWE and what they done since coming to WWE? We get a look back at Alexa Bliss destroying the office of her therapist last week. We see more of Bliss' journey back to the ring, back to the Raw tonight, back to commercial. Back from the break, and we see what happened early with The Miz and Maurice Edge and Beth Phoenix. Kevin Patrick stops it. Couple for comments backstage. Miz says it took just one shot to take Beth down. They go on talking trash, and Miz remembers next week is Marie's birthday. He goes on and says before they take out the Grid couple at the Royal Rumble. Next week he's going to throw the biggest birthday party for Maurice because he loves her. They celebrate and kiss to the end segment. We go back to Alexa Bliss with her therapist in his office. He wangles her back and says he's happy to say there are a lot less breakable things in the office this week. She's not sure about that. He will continue to see her as a patient this week, but he can't tolerate a repeat of last week. He apologized for triggering her, but says he had to see where she was at and promise she will be in a much better place after this all done. The doc wants to do some more words association now. The first word is trust. Lily, friend, and Lily, home, Lily, doll, Lily, imaginary. Bliss gets up and stares the man down after he asks her about this word. He look at his watch and says time is up. Bliss sits back down and exhales as the doctor leaves. So we get the main event of the evening. So we get Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins. We go back to the ring for tonight's main event as Bobby Lashley, makes his way out with MVP. He hits the corner to post as the power goes off. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and out comes Seth Rollins as Lashley and MVP stare him down. The announcers hype Lashley versus WWE Champion Brock Lesnar and Rollins versus WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns at the World Rumble. The bell rings, and here we go. They have words and taunt each other. Seth Rollins with a headlock in the middle of the ring. They run the ropes, and Lashley shows Rollins up with a shoulder. Rollins grabs from behind, but Lashley drops him. Rollins with a sling blade in a quick pedigree attempt, but Lashley back drops him. Lashley goes on and makes an early hurt lock attempt, but Seth Rollins slides free, sending Lashley to the floor. Rollins runs the ropes, and he hits a suicide dive, but Lashley slows the impact and is still on his feet. Seth Rollins returns to the ring for another dive but this time Lashley catches him and launches him on the floor with a big throw. Lashley stands tall at ringside as the referee checks on Rollins. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Rollins has Lashley down in the corner, slamming his leg in the ring post as MVP looks on and the referee warns him with a count. Rollins slams the leg into the post again. Rollins returns to the ring and goes to work on the leg in the corner some more. As the referee counts, Rollins drags Lashley in the middle of the ring and continues to focus on Lashley's leg and specifically his knees. Rollins with a submission now, taunting Lashley in his face. MVP cringes at ringside as Rollins really puts a hurt on Lashley's leg and knee in the middle of the ring, taunting the hold in a single leg crab now. Seth Rollins sits up in the knee and continues to ground Lashley. Lashley tries to power up and out of the hole. He sends Rollins to the floor, but Rollins right back in, missing a stump. Lashley counters and plants Seth Rollins' face first into the mat as MVP cheers him on from ringside. They both get up and go at it, but Lashley strikes first. Lashley with two big belly-to-belly suplexes and neckbreaker. Seth Rollins counters a suplex, but Lashley stays on him, driving him face first onto the mat for his shoulders. Rollins kicks out just in time, and Lashley can't believe it. Lashley sells the injured leg, but he charges first with a spear, but Rollins gets his knees up. Rollins with a rolling elbow to the face. Seth Rollins charges and blocks a power slam attempt, sending Lashley into the turnbuckles. Seth Rollins follows up with the pedigree in the middle of the ring, but Lashley just kicks out just in time. Seth Rollins shows a bit of frustration now. Fans do some dueling chants now. Seth Rollins goes to the top, but Lashley grabs him by the throat. Lashley climbs to the top with Rollins, but Rollins elbows him several times. Lashley overpowers and launches Rollins from the top with a massive overhead superplex. Everyone is amazed at what Lashley just done. Lashley at ringside now preparing his next move until Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander suddenly attack him. They beat Lashley up at ringside as the referee calls for disqualification. The winner by disqualification, Bobby Lashley. After the bell, Lashley tries to fight off Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, but they double team him and sends him to the ring post. They talk trash on Lashley's face and then sends him back into the ring as a ring post a few times. Seth Rollins watches from ringside as Lashley blocks a double suplex on the floor, then launches his former teammates with a double suplex of his own on the floor. Lashley grabs Cedric Alexander and drives him face first onto the ring post. Lashley stalks Benjamin now and puts him through the barricade with a big spear for a pop from the crowd. Rollins watches from the turnbuckles and now amazed at what he's seeing. Lashley due to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos suddenly hop on the barricade from the crowd, rushing into the ring, waits on Rollins. Rollins turns around to see the Usos, but they flatten him with a double super kick. The Usos back up the ramp and with their fingers in the air as the music hits. Seth Rollins recovers on the mat in the ring while Lashley looks on from ringside. Raw goes up there with the Usos standing tall on the ramp, telling Seth Rollins they will see him at the Royal Rumble. But the one thing why did the Usos have to be on Monday Night Raw? I just don't get it. But anyway, Monday Night Raw was a 2 out of 10. The show was awful. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed my WWE Raw review on highlights, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Comment down below what are your thoughts on Raw. I give Raw a 2 out of 10, but the show was awful. Anyway, follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And I will see you guys. I will see you guys later. This your boy Bigboyfactsjonnytv. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. And I'm out of here.